Hello friend, welcome back. In our previous video here we successfully get all the our data. So that means from our employee leave table I get all the data with the order by descending order and get it and take the things with this variable and pass it in our employee, that is our employee leave, one of the folder. Here I have created one of the page as the employee leave, right? So now we have to design this page. So here I have created this page and I have created into the employee leave, and that is our file as employee leave view. So that will be one of the view page actually, friends. So better if you go to that setup and to the designation view, that is pretty much same, right? So we did this type of work a lot of the time. Better I select everything, I copy it, and now in our employee leave view here I paste it. Okay, I simply paste it. So that will be just like that same, only we have to change that all that name. So first of all I want to change that name. That will be as a employee leave, and then I want to make it button as a add leave. Okay, add leave, this type of one of the name, rather than you can also use it as a add employee leave. So this type of one of the button, and here also you have to create on the add page. So first of all I want to visible this data, that means the serial number, the name, all this. So now I want to add multiple field. I want to add multiple field because here I have used that purpose ID, that is start date, end date, and here also you can see I have also put one of the comments as this employee ID will be our employee table ID is equal our user table ID, right? So if you want to get some of the data also from the user, you can also add it. Okay, that means you can get this data. So better I want to do here, there is serial number, and then employee name will be visible, employee ID number will be visible. Okay, I name it as ID number will be visible. Sorry, so I make it as ID number will be visible, and then our purpose will be visible, and then start date and the end date, I make it as a start date and then the end date. Okay, that will be as a end date, and then after that there is action. Perfect. So right now from here I pass this data as all data, right? I pass it. So perfect. So with this all data I name it as a leave. Okay, I name it as a leave, or rather than you can also use that as a value. So with this leave I want to display all that our field. So I now copy it, and here we have to use it, right? So there is a 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. That means a 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. So that is actually another one. So right now it's perfect. So first of all, that is our serial number. So serial number will be with our this key is great, and then the name. So name means what? Name is actually, it should be comes from our user table, right? So into the user, that is the employee name, and that is ID number, that will be also comes from our user table, and there is a purpose, start date, and the end date. So that is a purpose, and purpose will be comes from our another table. If you go, I have also created another table as a purpose, right? That means the leave purpose, and from the leave purpose we have to get this data. That means here we have to create some of the relationship. So let's do that work. I think at that point you already know what exactly the things you have to do. Like I want to create on the relationship. If you go to our employee leave, now go there. So that is our model for the employee leave. So right now I want to create one of the relation with our user and to create another relation with our leave purpose, right? So now I put as a public and then function, and then I name that as user. Okay, I take one of the method as a user method. So into this user method, that will be the same return return and then this, right? So return this and then belongs to, return this belongs to with what? With our user table, right? So with our user class, and with this user class here also we have to put that our relationship. Our relationship means with our in our employee leave table. If you go to employee leave, into the employee leave, that is our employee ID, right? So this employee ID will be our user table ID. So now I make it as a employee ID. That means this table, this ID will be match with our this user table ID, right? So now I simply add it. Perfect. So that's all. So with this we'll get every relationship that right now you can able to access with this method in our user table, all that field data, right? And also I want to create another one. I want to create another one for the purpose. I name it as a purpose. Okay, I name it as a purpose. Okay, so now that will be belongs to our another table. Our another table means that is our another table as a leave purpose. So for the leave purpose, I have also created another model. If you go to our controller, and you can say I have also created another model as a leave purpose. Now with this leave purpose, I want to get this name. So here with this leave purpose, I want to put that condition where our employee leave into the employee leave, and that is, you can see, that is actually our ID. So as I told you, friend, that at that point I think it's very much easy to you. So now this leave ID will be matched with our this the employee purpose table, this ID, right? So that is the simple condition. So I want to update that as this leave purpose ID, that means this table, that means the employee leave table, this is one of the field as a leave purpose ID, that will be matched with our leave purpose table, that is actually ID, right? When it will be matched, then it will get this data. I take the things with this variable. Perfect. So now with two of this method we can actually display it. Now first of all, go to that our view page, and to the view page, that is our leave. So right now with this leave, I want to display that name. So name is in our user. So with this user, I have also created one of the relation. I have created that relation name as a user, right? So that will be as a user, and then our user name, that means our database field name. So our database field name as a name. So we use it a lot of the time. And then there is an ID number. So that will be just like that same. I copy and paste it. So with this user, I want to use our user table ID name, that is maybe a ID underscore name. You can see ID underscore name. So now I want to use it from the user table. So that will be ID underscore name, right? And then that is actually another one. So that is the another one as a purpose. As I told you, purpose actually it should be comes from our another table. So another table I have also created that relation. It should be belongs to our leave purpose, and that is our leave purpose ID will be matched with our ID. So that I take the things with this variable. So that is our relationship variable as a purpose. So that will be same. Okay, that will be the same. So with our purpose, with this method, I want to access our this field. Okay, that means this table field name. So here our this leave purpose table field name as a name. Maybe you can see that is leave purpose table, this name I want to access. So perfect. So now I want to get this name, that will be as a name. Okay, and then with this leave I want to display our start date and the end date. That means that will be actually the same. Our here into the employee leave, that will be as a start date, that will be as a start date, and that will be as a end date. Okay, so that will be as a end date. I hope, friend, everything is very much clear to you, right? And after that, there is our for loop, and now we have to also edit or delete it. So better I copy it. So that will be obviously with this leave I want to access our this table ID, and also I want to access that ID for the delete. Now click as a save all, and now if you go our page, right now we don't need this. I close it. Now click as a refresh. Yeah, now you can see there is another menu is available as an employee leave. Now open it. So now it's showing as a syntax error, unexpected this. Okay, unexpected this here. Purpose, I use it perfectly. User, perfect. There is a leave is perfect, right? So you can see for the purpose I didn't remove it, so that will be obviously removed, and then this is a purpose item, right? Now click as a save all, and now refresh it. Yeah, it's perfect. It's now perfectly loaded. You can see, friend, right now I don't have any data because of all here. Right now I don't have any data in our employee leave table, right? So here it's totally now empty. So the further reason is now totally empty. Now I want to insert some of the data. Okay, that means I want to add some of the employee leave. So here I have also add one of the button as add employee leave. So if you want to load it, that means if you go to our view page, into the view page, and they have actually the add employee leave. So I want to create one of the route will be as a employee leave. Okay, I name it as a employee dot leave dot add. So this type of one of the route I want to create. And if you go to our web route, into the web route I copy it, and then here I paste it. So that will be one of the route name as a employee leave add. I copy it, that will be as a employee leave add, and that will be as a add, that will be as a leave employee add. And in our employee leave controller I want to create one of the method as a leave add. Okay, so this type of one of the method I want to create, that is a leave add. Now go to our employee leave controller, into the employee leave controller. After this I name it as a public, and then function, and then that will be our method. So now I want to get all the data. Okay, I want to get all the data here. I want to get all the data from our that is our leave purpose, that is our employee leave, right? So here I want to get all the data from our this table as an employee leave table, and also that is our connected with our user, right? I also want to take that user. I want to put some only that condition. I want to get that all that our employee user. Okay, that means employee user. So that is our user type will be obviously as an employee. So that will be actually same, we did that work before. So now I want to add as a data. Okay, with this data I take one of the variable and name it as a employees, because employees data will be also needed. So with this user model, that is our where condition, where our user type, right? Make that sure spelling is correct. That will be actually our field name. That means I only want to get that a specific all that employee user type data. Okay, so now I copy it. So that means here it should be as an employee. So I copy it. So user type only when it should be matched with that as an employee, then I want to get this data. So after that I get this data. Okay, and also I want to get all the data from our another table. I want to get all the data from our there is a leave purpose. That means here I want to load this in our one of the form area. Okay, so that will be our leave purpose. So I think, friend, every part is very clear to you why I'm actually using it. At that point it should be very clear to you. So now I name it as a leave underscore purpose. Okay, whatever you actually choose. So now I want to get all the data. I want to get all the data from our this leave purpose, right? That is our leave purpose model. So with this model I want to get all data. Okay, so that will be perfect. And after that I want to load both of these data in our one of the view page. So that will be as a return and then view, and I want to create one of the page. Better I copy it and here paste it. So here I get two of these variable data with our data array. So now I pass it. Okay, I pass it on here, and after that make that sure you add that semicolon. Okay, so perfect. So I want to create one of the file in our employee leave folder. That will be as a employee leave add. Okay, I name it as a add. I want to create this file in our employee leave folder. So into the employee leave folder I want to create one of the new file, and now I click as a save as and name it as a employee leave add.blade.php. right, friend? So this page will be just like our employee salary. Into the employee salary, that is the increment, right? That is the employee salary increment. Into the increment I added that call md6 with the to field, right? So it should be just like that same. I copy better into the employee salary, that is the employee salary increment. I copy everything from here, and now in our employee leave, that is our add page. Here we have to actually load one of the form. So I paste it. So that will be not that employee salary, that will be as employee leave. Okay, I name it as employee leave. So now that is our field. I want to do here I visible that name, I visible that ID, purpose, start date, and the end date, right? So first of all I want to load all the name. Okay, that means username. So I have also get all that our user type data, which user type as an employee, right? So I get this data, take the things with this variable, and I pass it in our employee leave at page. That means right now with this for each we can actually load all that our employees data. So let's do that work. So for doing this, that is our salary amount, and that is our effective date. So I want to actually better take another two, that is our call MD6, right? I copy it. I need one of the actually drop down. Okay, so here after this I paste it, and also I paste it. So now it should be actually 4. Now I just click as a save all. I have to check it first. Now click as a refresh. Now go to our add employee leave. So here it's showing undefined variable edit data in our employee leave add page. Maybe in our employee leave add page, here you can see that is actually getting this error from here. So right now we don't need this. I close it. Save all. Refresh it. Missing parameter out. Okay. Right now I remove it. Okay, I remove total things from this position. Now click the save all, and now refresh it. Yes, perfect. Now you can see there is an employee leave, and that is our column D6. Right now that is actually 4, right? So I want to actually load all that our employee data, so that will be one of the option. So I have used a lot of the time action, maybe in our designation, maybe user, into the user. If you go to that add user, into the add user, I have used it. You can see I have used that select from. So right now I copy that select from, so that will be as a select from. Better right now I copy the total form group. Okay, I copy the total form group, and right now we don't need this. Here into the employee leave add, that means into the employee leave add I want to add our first row. That is actually our row, and that is our end of this row, and that is our form group. I updated that form group, so that will be not that user role, that will be as employee name. Okay, employee name, and employee name means I also change the name, that is a select name or select employee name. I want to load on here. So right now we don't need this. I only want to add one of the for each, at the rate for each, and then and for each, right friend? I think you already know, so for the reasons I'm not explain this again. So that is our and for each. So I only want to do and to actually load our total data. So here I get our employees data, and I take the things with this variable as employees. Right now with this employees I want to visible this data in our this add page. So that will be with this our employees. I name it as employee. Okay, or whatever you choose. Right now I make it as employee. I make it as employee. So now with this employee I want to do and to visible our ID. First of all user ID, so that will be one of the value. Into the value area with this employee we have to pass that ID, right? So that is actually our ID, and also I want to do and to visible the name. So with this employee I want to visible that name. That will be as with this employee I want to visible the name. Perfect. So now everything should be loaded. Now let's check this out. If you now click as a save all, okay, if you now click as a save all, and now go here, so it should be now loaded all that our employee data. Yeah, you can see it's now showing as a select employee name. Yes, you can see that right now they have the 2 employee data. If you go to our user table, into the user table, as I told you friend, I only get which user type will be as an employee. So these data I get, right? So in our condition I simply put that condition, and I get the things with this employees, and now simply I add that for each, and I load that things on here. And that is our field name. So now I want to do and to update that field name. I want to insert all the data in our this database table, right? That is our employee leave. So better I want to use it, name will be as employee ID. So that will be as employee ID. I make it as employee ID. Okay, right now we don't need this. That is actually if you use some of the action, then you can actually use it. So right now it's perfect, it's clean. And then I want to visible another one. I want to visible that start date, not this. I want to make it as a start. Okay, start date. So for the start date, that will be one of the date type. I make it as a date type, and our field name will be as a start date. In our employee leave, I copy it. That will be as a start date, right? And then there is another two of this. So here I also want to load all that our leave purpose ID. That means here I have also called that as a foreign key. So that will be, I want to get this leave purposes, all the data should be loaded. Okay, so I want to get this data. So for the reasons I already put that condition. I get that our leave purposes, all the data, take the things with this variable, I pass it in our employee leave add page. So now with this we can actually visible it. That will be just like that same. Better I copy this. Okay, I copy this form group, and after that start date, there is another one form group. I updated that form group. Okay, I updated this form group. So that will be not that employee name, that will be as a leave purpose. So I make it as a leave purpose. Okay, that will be as a leave purpose. And then from to this position I pass that variable as a leave purpose. I copy it. So that will be as a leave purpose, and I name it as a leave. So now with this leave, that will be as a leave purpose ID, and then leave purpose field name as a name, right? So here you can see there is a field name as a name. So now I want to visible it. Perfect. And here I want to name that. I name it as per our database field name. I always actually prefer this one as a leave purpose ID. So I copy it, and that will be as a leave purpose ID. Okay. And then that will be as a not that effective date, that will be as the end date. Okay, so now I want to make it as end date, and date will be as a date type, and our field name will be as a end date. I copy it, that will be as a end date. Okay, I name it this one. Perfect. So that is our end date. And also that is our purpose. I name that as a leave purpose ID, and it should be loaded all that our leave purposes, right, from our leave purposes table. And then it should be loaded our start time. I name it as start time. Okay, I name it as start time, and name it as employee ID. Perfect. Now let's check this out. If you now click as a save all, and now go there, now click as a refresh. So it's getting error undefined variable leave purpose in our employee add page. What are the things I did wrong here? So I pass that as a leave purpose as leave. That will be as a ID. That should be loaded. Everything is look like great on here. Maybe I did something wrong in our controller. So I get this as a data. Okay, I get this as a leave purpose all data. You can see there's a spelling mistake. So I make it as a date, so that will be as a data, right? I always use that as a data, not the date. So I pass also the data. So maybe that is actually the reason it's not getting that our this variable perfectly. Now click as a save all, make that sure spelling is correct. So now I click as a refresh. Yeah, it's perfectly now loaded. So now all that our employees loaded, and also you can see I have also inserted some of the manual data as a family problem and the personal problem. So that means every data actually now comes from our this table as a leave purpose table that have the two data name as a family problem and the personal problem. Right now it's successfully loaded, right? And then our start date and that end date. So friend, here I want to do one things, like you can also create one of the code application for the leave purposes. I think you already know about it, how can create this type of one of the code application. But I want to make it some of the interactive. Okay, so if you want to use some of the JavaScript, with this JavaScript I want to use one of the another form. So from to this position, if you select as a family problem or the personal problem, and after that if you want to add another field, okay, here I want to load one of the field. So how can insert this with our using the JavaScript in our next video? I will show you that things with a live example. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.